Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And if you're looking for stuff to watch on Netflix, well, you've come to the right place. Because I figured, hello, the whole point of this channel, I'm supposed to get recommendations to you guys. So I figure I should do just regular videos. What to watch on Netflix? I'll tell ya. I've got a good dozen recommendations here, plenty of different movies to go through. I didn't even script this. We're just gonna run through it. We're just gonna have fun with it. Let's just dive in. First up, Sleepy Hollow was recently added to Netflix, and I want to point this out because I included it in my list of the best horror on Amazon Prime. And of course, I think a lot of people saw that video after Sleepy Hollow was already off of Amazon Prime. So hey, it's on Netflix now. If you missed it, you can still watch it. Sleepy Hollow, one of my favorite Halloween movies. I just love it. It's the summer, but I'm still recommending it. Next up is The Guest, a thriller of sorts about a soldier played by Dan Stevens who goes to stay with a family who has lost a son in combat, and he goes to stay with them, but turns out this guest of theirs, he is not exactly who he says he is. This comes from the same duo that did You're Next. Simon Barrett, the screenwriter, and Adam Wingard, the director, who is going to be doing Godzilla vs. Kong. So this is just a really well done little movie. I've noticed that it has gotten some attention on Netflix. I feel like people have discovered it this year, but in case you haven't, this is an interesting one. Sleeping with Other People is a romantic comedy from writer-director Leslie Headland, and it stars Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis as two relationship-challenged individuals who form a platonic relationship, and they meet up to talk about all of the other people that they're sleeping with. And of course, they fall in love along the way. You know exactly how this is gonna go, but this isn't the typical romantic comedy. Trust me, I can't even get into a basic bitch romantic comedy, but no. This one is really funny, it's very grounded, and the chemistry between Brie and Sudeikis is just great. They just really have this energy throughout the movie that keeps things entertaining, even if it wasn't a love story. And Leslie Headland is going on to do a Star Wars, so I should just leave it at there. She's doing a Star Wars. She's doing a Star Wars series, so in case you want to be familiar with her work, this would be a good place to start. Alpha Dog. Okay, if you guys are wondering why all of us millennials are so messed up, watch Alpha Dog, and you'll know what it was like to be alive and growing up in 2006. This movie is based on a true story about a kidnapping gone awry. Anton Yelchin, R.I.P., he plays a teenager who is kidnapped by this gang. He is held for ransom. It's a whole situation, and things just spiral out of control. And I think a lot of people could look at this movie. They could point out a lot of problematic elements. There's a lot that you could dive into, but the reason I think that this is a solid one to recommend is I do believe this movie is directed from an objective point of view where it's really criticizing these characters for their actions. I don't think it's at all glorifying the things that do happen in this movie. If you've watched it, you know what I mean. But this is a really interesting and entertaining movie. It is a little bit long, but it is so good. Plus, it's loaded with a bunch of interesting stars. Like Amanda Seyfried is in this, Justin Timberlake is in this. It's got a really good cast. Again, I don't want to excuse some of the problematic elements because I'm sure you might dive into it and then go, this is not for me. But trust me, if you stick with it, it really turns into something interesting. It's at least worth a watch. Next up is The Little Hours, a very raunchy comedy set in like the 1600s or even before that. I don't know. It's way back in the day. It's based off of like an old Italian story, but that's not the point. It really doesn't matter. It is just a very raunchy, hysterical movie about these three nuns who just lose it. They just go on a rampage, and it is just so hysterical and ridiculous. You might find it to be a one-joke movie with just, nuns dropping F-bombs, but I personally think it's just hilarious. It's got Aubrey Plaza in it. Alison Brie again, she's just doing the good stuff. Kate McCucci, who I really like from Garfunkel and Oates. It's just a really solid cast, really funny, and it's also short and sweet. It's like an hour and a half. Next up is Sin City, the action, crime, drama, thriller. It's everything. Sin City is everything. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez and based off of Frank Miller's graphic novel series about just a very seedy underworld and the characters that inhabit it. It is a very stylish movie. It's a very violent movie. It is a very extreme movie, but it is so entertaining. It's just so good, and it's unlike any other movies on this list. Keeping things in black and white, but also toning it down majorly, my next Netflix recommendation is Frances Ha, a Noah Baumbach comedy starring Greta Gerwig as a dancer kind of lost in her life in New York City. This is one of those comedies about someone just trying to get their life together, but it's Greta Gerwig, and she's just running around dancing in the streets of New York City. It's fantastic, it's funny, it's very charming. This is a very easy movie to throw on, especially if maybe you had a rough day and you just want to put your feet up and watch something that will just fill your heart with goodness. That is exactly what Frances Ha is. It is basically like a bowl of soup for the cinephile soul. Swimming Pool is a very interesting, great movie, one of my all-time faves. I could go on about Swimming Pool forever, so let me try and keep it light. Charlotte Rampling stars as a writer who goes to spend the summer in a house owned by her publisher in the countryside of France. It's very beautiful. There's a swimming pool, and it starts out with her just kind of hanging out, living her life until this young woman who says to be the publisher's daughter shows up. You've got this middle-aged woman just trying to relax on vacation, and then you have this young woman who is bringing all these different men in and out. They're clashing. The movie starts out really slow and it unfolds very slowly, but it leads to just, oh, it's so good. I know some of you are gonna hate the ending. It has one of those endings that just pulls the rug out from under you, and you're not gonna like that, but oh, Swimming Pool is something special. It is erotic and violent, but it does take a while to get to those things, so just, know it gets there, but also be patient, but it is so wild. Next up is Starship Troopers, a staple of the 90s. This one follows a group of military cadets in the future as they go off to fight the space wars, taking on all kinds of alien monsters and stuff. Whether you look at this as some sort of satirical masterpiece that looks into the military-industrial complex, or you like just a silly creature feature and you like just, bad movies, I don't really know if we've really formed an internet verdict on Starship Troopers. Either it's a trashterpiece or it is a masterpiece. It kind of depends on your opinion, but either way, this movie is a really interesting look at officers in the military, kind of dealing with the system, and also just crazy creature feature gory action. This movie's so gory, it's ridiculously graphic, and that's always a good time. If you want a slice of 90s goodness, but you're not looking to get so R-rated, how about Clueless? This teen comedy from Amy Heckerling is a contemporary update on the Jane Austen story Emma, and it stars Alicia Silverstone as a spoiled brat in Los Angeles who tries to fill her time with setting up all of her friends with each other until she realizes that she needs to look at herself. This movie is like a time capsule of 1995. Oh, does it bring me back. This movie is just funny and charming. It really does everything that you need out of a teen comedy, but it's also just really well done and has really well-rounded characters. It's just a damn good movie. I hate to compare the two, but I know that a lot of my friends in like my age range, we really connected to Mean Girls when it came out, and don't get me wrong, I love Mean Girls. I will always love Mean Girls. But this was always my pink DVD go-to teen comedy. I've always loved Clueless, and I feel like so many people around my age or younger really missed out on this one. They never gave it a chance, but I'm telling you, you really need to. Trust me, you're gonna watch it and it's gonna be in your rewatching rotation. I'm telling you, this is just, it's a straight up 90s classic. I said it. Now I gotta give this one a shout out because I know one of you wanted to hear it, but Freaks is a movie that has been doing really well on Netflix. It came out last year, but it's gotten some major attention. I've seen it on the top 10 list of movies on Netflix this year, so people are giving it a shot. And that's good because this is a very down-to-earth, low-budget, independent look at what a superhero movie could be. This movie, I don't really even want to say much about it because this really is one that's best to go in blind and let it unfold, but I know I went in knowing this much, so I'll just tell you, it's about people who have powers and they're living in a society that really doesn't accept them. And it's how do you maneuver your way through that society and how do you form your own existence? It's really interesting. You definitely have to commit some time to it. I gotta tell you, it does take a little bit to really unfold, but once it has you hooked, I'm telling you, this is one you're really gonna enjoy. I'm telling you, it was a major surprise for a lot of us, so if you haven't given it a watch, now is the time. And because you know I love my spooky stuff, Poltergeist has been recently added onto Netflix. I love this movie. It is about a family terrorized by a poltergeist, by ghosts in their homes. It's classic. It's just so classic 80s. I know we say Steven Spielberg didn't direct it. I think he kind of did though. But it really captures the 80s Spielberg feels that you get out of E.T., but in a haunted house movie. This is just a really well done supernatural movie. This is exactly what I like out of supernatural horror. I regularly say on here, I'm like, I don't like supernatural horror movies. I do. I just like ones that play out like this, that are fun. This is definitely my kind of spooky scary. If you haven't watched Poltergeist, now is definitely the time. I wouldn't say it completely holds up, but it's still worth a watch. I could go on forever, you guys. I could just keep popping them off one recommendation after another, but I've already taken up enough of your time. Let me know if there's anything here that you're looking forward to seeing or if there are any favorites. How do you feel about them? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give me that big thumbs up if you want me to do this regularly. I feel like I could do monthly editions of what to watch on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu, and I think that's fun. I just like talking about movies. You guys know I'm just a nerd. So thanks again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Hit those comments below to let me know what you were thinking. That is it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.